and it's just basically, I mean, it's part of the wave of the future. I mean, you want to, even my own, you want to get on Facebook and look me up and look up New England Talent and Crew.
I think Facebook is great. I really do. It's amazing all the actors that are on there now.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it, too. And I mean, even in that sense, I mean, you know, people are loading up their pictures and their profiles, and they're almost following the same thing as an actor, where they're getting their resume and they're getting info on themselves. And so it's that progression of, you know, just get yourself out there, get a picture, you know, anything that makes you different. It sometimes you never know. They may be looking for somebody who owns a boat, and you've got a boat. So, hey, you're going to beat out half the people just because you have a boat or you know how to row, you know?
The casting process, I'm intrigued by it. It's amazing because what I can gather is, and I've got so many parts just because what I look like is really what you look like. I mean, especially we're talking about a background actor here, okay? I really think casting, and we're going to get into casting segments too, definitely on our show here. But I really think, as far as like a background or featured background, I think 3 to 5 seconds is all it takes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's, you know, and that's it. I mean, it's an amazing process, especially casting, because sometimes, you know, they're looking for guys with tattoos and just, you know, everyday guys, and that's probably why, like, I love this business so much, is just because anybody can do it. You know, all it takes is that little like excitement of wanting to do it, and that enthusiasm that, hey, you know what, I don't care if I look silly, you know, because I just want to do it. And that's, and I think that once you reach that, you know, then you can definitely go far in this business, where you go, you know, I know what I have for talent, and I'm going to show you what I can do. And there's so many people out there that have talents, and you never know, whether it's playing the flute, you know, there's some movie out there that might want you to play the flute. So there you go. There's your shot, you know.
Let's just briefly, let's just talk about your resume, some of the more prominent things you know, you and I, you know, I mean, we've done the background actor thing for a while, and we've gotten dangerously close to these speaking roles. And what are some of the things that we can really see in?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's actually funny because I just went to the preview of Paul Blart Mall Cop, and there's a couple times where I see myself and I'm like, wow, I actually see myself on the movie.
That's amazing. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
Oh, it's a great feeling because I just looking up, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm not going to go unnoticed now.
and we're on that set. You put a lot of nights on there. I think I saw you in the trailer, too, outside the police in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's it. I mean, normally what I'll do is I'll stand in and, you know, I'll do extra work. And like I said before, I mean, I'm a proponent of just getting on set. So for me, I just love any chance to be on set, be hanging around, and getting that all-inclusive craft service. Because that's the key right there.
I'll tell you, man, it's a good deal. You also hit on something, a stand-in. Tell us quickly what a stand-in, and this is really virtually what you look like again. What's a stand-in do, Chuck?
A stand-in is there are two types. There is a photo double, and then there'll be a stand-in. So what will happen is if an actor comes in, like say, for example, Christopher Walken, a friend of mine, George McDonald, was his stand-in. Now, he looks, to use your word, dangerously close to Christopher Walken. And so his job was to, any time that Christopher Walken was in the trailer, maybe memorizing lines or over at craft services, he was to jump in, and basically all the camera guys, all the lighting guys would set up around him. And so then Christopher Walken would come back in, he'd hop out, and he would go with the scene. Now, also on that, he also photo doubled him. So he would make sure that his hair matched up. He'd put a little product in
and he's
there.
actually on film, right?
Yeah.
Or the back of him is, or
well, it'll probably be him on film because you know. So then there'll be scenes where, say, they wanted, you know, Christopher to dive in the bushes. Well, instead of using Christopher to dive in the bushes, because if something happened to him, the whole movie would be shot, they would have George jump in the bush and do those
Who cares
scenes.
if George takes a hit, right?
If George goes, it's fine. So even in that sense, like even on Mall Cop, a friend of mine, Nicole Main, was doing the stunt double for one of the main actresses.
Wow.
And so she had to, you know, I don't want to ruin the movie, but she fell through a roof. And so, of course, they didn't want to have the young girl fall through the roof.
No way.
So they threw her in. So
they often put smaller adults for kids, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
And you know, and that's part of it, and that even goes to that thing where you never know, because here's a girl who was just trying to get into the union, was just trying to act, and all of a sudden they were like, wow, you look exactly like this girl, we're putting you in, you know? And so that's kind of one of those things where you never know. You can be on set and somebody could come to town that people are like, you know, you look like so-and-so, and next thing you know, they're in town and you're going, hey, I'm going to photo double for them. You know, and there's your chance also to even meet them, you know, and a lot of times
absolutely.
people...
Let's talk about etiquette on the set. You and I can share some serious stories, what to do, what not to do. Okay, you get on a set. I saw somebody on 21 just went up and hand their business card to Kevin Spacey.
Nice.
And it was just embarrassing.
They picked a good guy to hand it to, though.
What's that?
They picked a good guy to hand it to.
I guess so. Didn't work.
Never does, but, I mean, he's a producer, so...
And when I did The Sopranos, we were told not to talk to them, but it was, you know, if they naturally say hello to you, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, then I hear stories about, you know, don't look right at Leo DiCaprio's eyes. Or
I've heard lots of those stories.
Yeah. I don't know what to believe with that kind of stuff.
I think that...
Tell us how you behave, Chuck.
Well, you know, I just think that, number one, I think that when you show up on set, it's kind of like one of those things where you can kind of see who's there. You know, it's very exciting. I mean, movies coming to town, it's so exciting to have these stars here. I mean, especially for myself when, you know, I was out in L.A. and I'm dying to even see anybody.
Yeah.
And then I come home and everybody's here. So it's a weird experience.
Yeah.
And so you get excited. But I think that what happens is it's a job. At the end of the day, people are there to make the movies.
Right.
And so they're at work. And so it's, you know, it's like... It's one of those things. I mean, it's very exciting. It's like if you go to a concert and you're backstage and you see these guys, but they still have to perform. And so you just have to be a little reserved and know that, hey, you know, yeah, there are chances that if you're on set and you ask them for a picture, they may do a picture with you. Mm-hmm. But then you may find out 15 minutes later that you're going home for the day. So you'll
never work in this town again.
So you got to make that choice. You got to make that choice whether or not, you know, just be as reserved as you can. Yeah. And like I said, there are going to be times where you're going to be on set, and who knows? I've had stars come up to me and say, "Hey, you look like my cousin," and I'm like, "Okay, that's awesome." And then I walk away because I don't want to sit there and find out who the cousin is.
That's right.
Or anything like that. Because
cousin could be dead.
The cousin could be dead. So I just want to talk to them, and then if they talk to me. But other than that, you know, even me, I'm just there to work. So it's just let's work and let's get it done, and then wait for the wrap party, because of the wrap party, and then I'm getting all those.
Well, if they show up, hopefully.
If they show up, yeah, you're right.
You know, once you're there and you're in the same frame with them, you know, they're considering you, you know, equal professional. You know, at least I got that kind of treatment, you know.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
And you can't, you know, if you're inches away from a megastar and you know, you're going to start snapping photos, it's just, it doesn't happen. And I think it makes collectively the whole background community look terrible too.
Oh yeah, it definitely does, and that's why, like, even along those lines, like, it goes to that thing of, what are you here for? Are you here to get that one picture to put up on your MySpace or Facebook, and then that's it? Or are you here for the long-term goal of doing this as a career? Because if you're there as a career, then you don't want to be known as the guy who was asking everybody for pictures. So you want to be known as the guy that, hey, he's in the club, you know, he doesn't care, he's trying to work, you know. So that
the time will come for all that stuff. You know, I really believe that.
Oh,
you know?
and that's without a doubt. I keep saying the prayer every night when I go to bed that at some point one of those guys is going to ask me for a picture. Yeah. You know? So that's the thing.
What will you be wearing?
So I think that's the key, is just being very professional and definitely on the whole. And I mean, I haven't been elected mayor yet, but the key is that you know, I think that, as you touched upon, we really need to show everybody that, look.